I'm doing a presentation on global warming and climate change. What are they and why do they matter? So global warming is the rise in global temperatures due mainly to the increasing concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. And climate change refers to the increasing changes in measures of climate over a long period of time. So what happens is humans burn fossil fuels for energy, and what that does is it pumps carbon dioxide, methane, and other gases into the atmosphere. Global warming was first brought up in 1896 by Swedish scientist Svante Arrhenius. No one really believed him when he first brought it up because they didn't really think that humans had the ability to have such an impact on the Earth. But come to find out, we actually do. In 1950s is when research really took off about global warming, and that's when scientists started saying, hey, this is an issue. But why does it even matter? Well, it has an effect on our daily weather, and there's also been many catastrophic weather events. We also have rising sea levels, and it has an impact on things that we love, such as plants and animals. And then there's also infectious diseases. Now, climate change has had a very negative impact on our environment, but it can be remedied if managed properly. So with the daily weather, we have the shifting seasons. It's been recorded and found that our seasons are happening 1.7 days earlier than they did before 1950. And why that's a problem is because it affects the timing of life cycle events, such as when flowers bloom and when pollinators emerge from hibernation. And so changes in these events results in a misalignment between species that may rely on one another. Now we also have extreme weather. With that, you have your hurricanes, your winter storms, and your floods. With the hurricanes, the U.S. alone, in 2017, we had 3 Category 4 hurricanes hit the coast of the United States. And those were Hurricane Harvey, Irma, and Maria. And those 3 hurricanes alone cost the U.S. $265 billion in damage. And so with their winter storms, in our area, it doesn't really seem like they're happening as often, but when they do, they happen to be really bad. They cause, trees to fall and power lines to go out, and, people are stuck in their homes because they literally cannot get out. And then we also have floods from the extreme weather, but that goes into rising sea levels. So with the rising sea levels, scientists noticed that the sea levels were rising in Florida almost 30 years ago. Between 2011 and 2015, sea levels rose up to 5 inches in certain areas of Florida. In 2018, there was a report done by an oceanographer named William Sweet. What he did was he researched the speed of the Gulf Stream, and he concluded that the melting of the Arctic Ocean ice has caused the Gulf Stream to slow down. Therefore, the water stays closer to the coast, causing sea levels to rise and causing floods to happen. And then this also has an effect on plants and animals. So with extinction, it's estimated that 20 to 30% of plants and animals that exist on Earth today will be extinct by the 2100s due to the rise in the global temperatures. Then we also have ocean acidification. That's elevated carbon dioxide levels in the ocean, and that's caused many organisms amongst coral reefs to have reduced ability to regulate their pH, and they now store less nutrients because of that, and they also don't have as many protective layers that they need. Then that also brings us to infectious disease. With pests and pathogens, they thrive on the rising of global temperatures. it is really beneficial for them because it enables them to expand their territory, and it survive through the winters because the winters aren't as cold. And it also means that their population can increase because they're not dying off as fast. So, what can we do? Well, we can invest in renewable energy, and that would be, solar panels, wind turbines, hydropower energy. With the solar panels, that helps reduce the carbon dioxide emissions and other pollutants into the air because you're not burning fossil fuels for it. And then wind turbines are powered by the wind. And they don't produce atmospheric emissions that cause acid rain, smog, or greenhouse gases. And then with the hydropower energy, it's fueled by water, but while it's also a sustainable fuel source, it helps with flood control and water supply. So in conclusion, global warming and climate change affect everything in our lives. You see the seasons happening sooner, plants and animals are dying off, and there's just a lot of things that we can do to help this issue. We can do simple things like reduce food waste and use leftovers, and use those leftovers to make a compost. You can unplug your electronics that you're not using, and then invest in a reusable water bottle. That way we're not polluting the earth with many water bottles. And then to stop the emissions of gases, you can walk to your destination or ride a bike rather than driving a car, if possible, if it's not too far away. And then another thing that you can do that's just real easy is you can just volunteer to clean up around the neighborhood, local city park. These are just things that really need to happen to help the planet and help us have a happier Earth. Thank you.